The Silent Diplomats. Dr. Cassandra Vale stood at the observation deck of Earth's diplomatic center, watching the gleaming Centauri ships dock with practiced grace. Their crystalline hulls caught the sunlight, creating rainbow patterns across the station's walls. Beautiful, she thought. But beauty often hid danger in nature. As Earth's leading xenobiologist, Cassandra had spent years studying alien species, their behaviors, and most importantly, their subtle tells. The Centauri, despite their apparent warmth and technological gifts, had begun displaying patterns that triggered her scientific instincts. Another successful trade agreement, announced Ambassador Thomas Reynolds, approaching with his characteristic optimism. The Centauri have offered to upgrade our medical facilities with their quantum healing technology. Cassandra turned to face him, carefully composing her expression. And what do they want in return? Just access to our deep space tracking networks. For navigation purposes, of course. Thomas smiled, but Cassandra noticed the slight tension in his shoulders. She walked to her holographic display, pulling up data from the past year. Thomas, have you noticed that every gift they've offered has given them access to our defensive capabilities? Medical stations that happen to be near military bases. Navigation systems that track our ship movements. You're being paranoid, Cassandra. The Centauri have been nothing but helpful since first contact. Like predators studying their prey, she muttered, expanding a chart showing Centauri ship movements. Look at these patrol patterns. They're methodically testing our response times, our alert zones. The door chimed, announcing the arrival of Dr. Raj Patel, her research partner and Earth's premier expert in alien psychology. Cassandra, you need to see this, he said, his usually calm voice carrying an edge of urgency. She followed him to his lab, where multiple screens displayed behavioral analyses of various Centauri diplomatic meetings. I've been running their micro-expressions through our xenographic translation matrix, Raj explained. Their facial structures are different, but certain muscular patterns are universal among sentient species. The data painted a disturbing picture. During key negotiations, the Centauri displayed subtle indicators of predatory anticipation, not diplomatic cooperation. They weren't building bridges. They were gathering intelligence. We need to take this to the Defense Council, Cassandra decided, but Raj caught her arm. Wait, the Centauri have observers everywhere. If we show our hand now, then we maintain the masquerade, she concluded, while preparing for what's coming. Over the next months, Cassandra and Raj worked quietly, building a network of observers. They recruited Dr. Jun Wong, an expert in alien technology, to analyze the Centauri gifts. Each discovery added to their concerns. The Centauri's latest present was a cultural exchange center in orbit around Jupiter. Cassandra stood in its grand opening ceremony, watching High Commissioner Zextal deliver flowery speeches about friendship between species. Your achievements are remarkable, Zextal said, his crystalline form shimmering. Such progress for such a young species. Cassandra caught the slight pause, the carefully chosen words. Behind her, June was discreetly scanning the building systems with quantum-shielded equipment. Later, in a secure room deep within Earth's lunar base, Cassandra presented her findings to a select group of military and scientific leaders. The Cultural Center is an observation post, she explained. Its sensors can track every ship movement in the outer solar system. General Regina Hendricks, head of Earth's Space Force, studied the data with narrowed eyes. How long have they been playing us? Since the beginning, Raj answered. Every gesture of friendship has been a test. Every gift, a Trojan horse. But why? Asked Thomas, his earlier optimism shaken by the evidence. Cassandra brought up a galactic map. Because we're the first species they've encountered who match their technological growth rate. We're not just new neighbors, we're potential rivals. So what do we do? June asked, his fingers dancing over calculations of Centauri weapons capabilities. We smile, Cassandra said firmly. We accept their gifts. We play the part of the grateful, naive species. She turned to General Hendricks. While you prepare our defenses. Because sooner or later, they'll decide to test us directly. And when they do, Regina's question hung in the air. Cassandra's expression hardened. Then we show them why humanity survived its own violent history. Why we developed diplomacy not from weakness, but from knowing the true cost of war. As she left the meeting, Cassandra paused at a window overlooking Earth. Beautiful and seemingly peaceful from space, much like the Centauri ships. But humanity's history was written in blood and fire before they learned to cherish peace. The Centauri thought they were studying humanity. In reality, humanity was studying them back, preparing for the day when smiles would no longer be enough. Because while humans genuinely desired peace, they had never forgotten how to fight. And if the Centauri forced that fight, they would learn what humans had always known, that the most dangerous predators are often those who choose to appear harmless, right up until the moment they strike. Beneath the surface, Commander Marcus Drake moved silently through the abandoned colony's ruins, his stealth suit blending perfectly with the shadows. New Eden had been humanity's most promising off-world settlement, home to 10,000 civilians. Now it was a ghost town, with no bodies, no signs of battle, just emptiness. Team 2, report, he whispered into his neural comm. Nothing in the residential sector. Lieutenant Kira Patel responded. But the soil samples are strange. Trace elements we've never seen before. Marcus approached the colony's central command center, its darkened windows reflecting the light of 3 moons. His helmet's sensors detected residual energy signatures, familiar ones. Control, are you seeing this? He transmitted the data back to Earth. In the underground Strategic Operations Center beneath Geneva, Ambassador Victoria Reed studied the incoming information. Her diplomatic smile, worn so often in Centauri meetings, was nowhere to be seen. Confirmed, Commander, she replied. Those energy patterns matched Centauri quantum drives. But they shouldn't have been anywhere near New Eden. Marcus's team had been tracking disappeared colonies for months. This was the 4th settlement they'd found abandoned, each one stripped clean of its inhabitants. No distress calls, no warnings, just silence. Ambassador, Marcus transmitted, I'm accessing the colony's mainframe. Last entries incoming. Victoria watched as the data streamed across her screens. Security footage showed normal colony activities, then strange light patterns in the sky. The final entries were fragmented. Beautiful crystals. Centauri ships. They say they're here to help. Just like the others, Victoria muttered. She turned to her aide, Davidson. Get me a secure line to Dr. Vale. She needs to see this. In her lab aboard the Lunar Research Station, Cassandra Vale reviewed the evidence with growing concern. The pattern is clear, she said over the encrypted channel. They're testing our defenses, watching how we respond to these disappearances. Marcus continued his sweep of the colony, each empty building adding to his controlled anger. A child's toy here, a half-finished meal there, signs of lives suddenly interrupted. Command, we found something, Kira's voice crackled over the calm, lower levels. Secure storage. You need to see this. In a hidden bunker beneath the colony's surface, Marcus found what the Centauri had missed. A quantum-shielded data core containing the colony's true purpose. New Eden hadn't just been a civilian settlement, it was a cover for humanity's most advanced defensive research facility. They were developing planetary shield technology, Marcus reported. Something that could block Centauri weapons. Victoria's hands tightened on her desk. That's why they took everyone. They're not just testing us, they're eliminating threats before we can develop them. On the surface, diplomatic relations continued smoothly. Victoria attended reception after reception, smiling and nodding as Centauri representatives spoke of peace and cooperation. But beneath that facade, Earth's military prepared. We've confirmed similar research programs at all 4 disappeared colonies, David reported during a secure briefing. Each one was close to a breakthrough in defensive technology. Marcus's team recovered what data they could from New Eden's computers. The colonists had known they were onto something big, something that could change the balance of power. Had that knowledge cost them their lives? In orbit above Earth, High Commissioner Zextal's ship maintained its peaceful vigil. Victoria watched it from her office window, remembering the Centauri's latest diplomatic overture. "We're concerned about these lost colonies," Zextal had said, his crystalline form pulsing with apparently sincere worry. "Perhaps if you accepted our offer of protection." "Your concern touches us deeply," Victoria had responded, her diplomatic training hiding her revulsion. "But humanity has always believed in self-reliance." Now, as reports from Marcus's team confirmed their worst fears, Victoria met with Earth's Defense Council. The evidence was irrefutable. The Zentari were systematically eliminating any human settlement that came close to matching their technological capabilities. "We can't confront them directly," she advised. "Not yet. We need to evacuate our other research colonies first, quietly. And we need to accelerate the SHIELD development program." Marcus's final report from New Eden arrived. Detailed scans of Zentari energy signatures, proof of their involvement that could never be revealed without triggering an immediate conflict. "What do we tell the public?" David asked. "Nothing," Victoria decided. "We maintain the illusion. Let the Zentari think their actions have gone unnoticed. Let them believe their gifts and promises have blinded us." In the ruins of New Eden, Marcus planted quantum mast sensors before his team withdrew. Earth wouldn't abandon this colony completely. It would become another silent witness to Zentari duplicity. "How long do we wait?" Marcus asked during the final briefing. "How many more colonies do we lose?" Victoria's expression was grim. "Only until we're ready. Dr. Vale's team is adapting the SHIELD technology we recovered. When it's ready, when our defenses are in place." She left the sentence unfinished. The Zentari continued their diplomatic dance, unaware that every smile they received was calculated, every agreement designed to buy time. They didn't realize that humans had learned deception as a survival trait, long before reaching the stars. In the depths of space, more human colonies maintained their peaceful appearance while secretly preparing for war. Because humanity had learned another lesson from its long history. Peace was precious, but survival sometimes required a warrior's heart behind a diplomat's smile. And when the Zentari finally showed their true intentions, they would learn that humanity's apparent trust had been as crystalline and fragile as the Zentari themselves, and just as capable of shattering into deadly shards. The breaking point. Ghost Fleet Commander Olivia Winters sat motionless in her command chair aboard the stealth carrier Nemesis, watching the holographic display of the civilian research vessel Horizon's Dawn. The massive ship, designed for deep space exploration, carried over 800 scientists, researchers, and their families. Its official mission was to study quantum anomalies in the Carina Nebula. Its real purpose was far more crucial. Status report. She subvocalized through her neural link. 12 Zentari warships just dropped out of hyperspace. Strategic Director James Chun responded from Earth Command. "They're maintaining distance, but running active scans." "Have they detected us?" "Negative. Quantum Shroud holding at full efficiency." The Nemesis and its complement of stealth ships had been shadowing the Horizon's Dawn for 3 weeks, invisible to all known detection systems. After the disappearance of the research colonies, Earth took no chances with its civilian vessels. Dr. Nathaniel Rodriguez, the Horizon's Dawn's chief scientist, was transmitting his daily update when the Zentari ships appeared. "We've successfully stabilized the quantum shield matrix. Initial tests show." His transmission cut off as a brilliant beam of energy lanced out from the lead Zentari vessel, slicing through the research ship's hull like paper. "No," Olivia whispered, then snapped into action. "Battle stations. All ships, combat formation Delta." But she knew they would be too late. The Zentari struck with surgical precision, targeting the Horizon's Dawn's key systems. The civilian vessel never had a chance to raise its experimental shields. In Earth Command, James Chin watched in horror as the massacre unfolded. "Commander Winters, do not engage. I repeat, do not engage. There are children on that ship," Olivia snarled. "And we need to know why they chose this moment to strike," James replied, his voice tight with controlled rage. "Continue observation protocols." The Zentari ships methodically destroyed the Horizon's Dawn, section by section. No escape pods were launched, The attack had been too sudden, too precise. 800 lives snuffed out in cold blood. Olivia's bridge crew maintained rigid discipline, but their faces reflected her own burning fury. They recorded everything: weapons signatures, tactical patterns, communication frequencies. Each piece of data would help ensure this never happened again. Hours later, in the secure bunker beneath Geneva, Earth's leadership convened an emergency session. The holographic displays showed the attack from multiple angles, captured by the Ghost Fleet sensors. They knew, Dr. Vale said quietly. They detected the quantum shield research, just like the colonies. James Chin stood before the assembled leaders, his usually pristine uniform showing signs of the sleepless hours since the attack. The Zentari ambassador claims their ships were responding to a distress signal. That when they arrived, the Horizon's dawn had already been destroyed by unknown forces. And their evidence? President Helena Rodriguez demanded. Fabricated sensor logs, James replied. Well done, but our quantum-masked recorders caught their entire approach and attack. Ambassador Reed, her diplomatic mask finally cracking, stepped forward. We can't let this continue. Every moment we wait is another moment to prepare, James interrupted. He activated a secure holographic display, showing a vast underground facility. Project Oracle is ready. The room fell silent. Project Oracle had been humanity's greatest secret, a weapons development program hidden beneath the Antarctic ice, protected by experimental quantum shields reverse-engineered from recovered colony data. How long? President Rodriguez asked. The defense grid can be fully operational in 72 hours, Commander Winters reported via quantum link from the Nemesis. Ghost Fleet units are in position near every major Zentari installation. We just need the word. Dr. Vale brought up a final data set. The Zentari will detect the energy signatures when we activate the grid. They'll know we've been deceiving them. Good, James said coldly. Let them realize just how badly they've miscalculated. President Rodriguez stood, her decision made. Implement Oracle. But first, she turned to Ambassador Reed. Send a message to the Zentari High Council. Tell them we're launching a full investigation into the Horizon's Dawn tragedy. Tell them we trust their explanation completely. One last lie, Victoria said with a grim smile. One last chance for them to reveal the truth. The president corrected. Not that they will. In orbit, the Zentari ships maintained their patrol patterns, their crystalline hulls gleaming in the starlight. They had no way of knowing that beneath Earth's peaceful surface, vast machinery was awakening. Defense systems built in secret, weapons tested in the void between stars, all waiting for the signal. Commander Winters watched her tactical display as hundreds of stealth satellites took up their final positions. Each one carried a quantum-phased weapon designed specifically to bypass Centauri shields. Remember the Horizon's dawn, she transmitted to her fleet. Remember what they did while we smiled and bowed and played the part of peaceful explorers. In Geneva, James Chun made the final preparations. Teams of specialists worked through encrypted channels, coordinating the global defense network. Everything had to be perfectly synchronized. They thought our kindness was weakness, he told his staff. They mistook our patience for fear. Now they'll learn what humanity is truly capable of. The Zentari ambassador made one final appearance before Earth's Council, expressing his people's deepest sympathies for the tragic loss. His crystalline form shimmered with apparent sincerity as he offered yet another treaty of protection. Victoria Reed, maintaining her diplomatic smile one last time, thanked him for his concern. She watched him leave, knowing that in less than 3 days, the galaxy would learn a harsh lesson about humanity's true nature. The time for masks was ending. The time for justice was about to begin. Unleashing the storm. Fleet Admiral Diana Torres watched the final countdown on her neural display, standing aboard the bridge of Earth's newest warship, the EDS Reckoning. Hidden in the shadow of Jupiter, her vessel represented humanity's true technological achievement, not the peaceful exploration ships they'd shown the galaxy, but a weapon of unprecedented power. All Oracle defense platforms report ready, her XO, Captain Michael Okafor, announced. Ghost Fleet squadrons in position. Ground teams await your signal. Diana's eyes swept over the tactical display, showing hundreds of stealth vessels positioned near key Centauri installations across 3 sectors. Years of preparation, all for this moment. Send the final transmission to Geneva, she ordered. In the war room beneath Earth's capital, Strategic Director James Chun received the fleet's status report. Beside him, Dr. Vale monitored the quantum shield network about to be activated around every human world. Mr. President, James said quietly. It's time. President Rodriguez nodded once. Execute Operation Thunderfall. Across the solar system, humanity's hidden strength revealed itself. Thousands of quantum-shielded satellites emerged from their cloaked states. Defense platforms that had masqueraded as communication relays powered up their weapons. The Ghost Fleet decloaked in perfect synchronization. The Centauri noticed immediately. Their sensors lit up with alerts as humanity's true military capabilities suddenly appeared around their ships, their bases, their supposedly secret installations. Channel open to the Centauri High Council, Captain Okafor reported. Admiral Torres stepped forward, her voice carrying across space to the crystalline chambers where the Centauri leadership gathered in confusion. You believed us weak, she began, each word carved from ice. You thought our kindness was fear. Our patience was ignorance. You murdered our people while offering us friendship. Now, you will learn why humanity survived its own violent history. In orbit around their homeworld, the Centauri's primary defense fleet detected multiple quantum anomalies. Before they could react, Ghost Fleet vessels materialized inside their formation. Commander Winters led the assault personally, her ship striking with devastating precision. All units, execute attack pattern Omega, she transmitted. Remember the horizon's dawn. The Centauri never had a chance to mount an effective defense. Their tactics were based on fighting enemies they could see, predict, understand. But humanity had been watching, learning, preparing. Each strike targeted a weakness observed during years of false diplomacy. On Earth, James Chin coordinated the global response as the Centauri launched desperate counterattacks. Their powerful weapons splashed harmlessly against humanity's quantum shields, shields based on their own technology, improved upon in secret. Multiple Centauri capital ships attempting emergency jumps, reported Dr. Vale, monitoring the battle data. Quantum interdictor fields holding. The Centauri's greatest advantage had always been their ability to escape from superior forces. But humanity had planned for this too. No Centauri vessel would flee until Earth's message was delivered in full. Admiral Torres directed the battle with cold efficiency, each move calculated to demonstrate the full extent of humanity's power. Activate the Prometheus protocol, she ordered. Across Centauri space, quantum bombs detonated in precise locations, not to destroy, but to disrupt. Their crystalline technology, so advanced and seemingly perfect, proved vulnerable to weapons specifically designed to exploit its fundamental properties. Commander Winters led her Ghost Fleet through the Centauri's primary shipyards, weapons precisely targeting critical systems. No civilian casualties, she reminded her crews. We're not them. Disabled don't destroy. The Centauri's initial shock turned to panic as they realized the full scope of humanity's deception. Every human diplomatic mission had been a reconnaissance operation. Every trade agreement had given Earth scientists chances to study Centauri technology. Every seeming concession had been carefully planned. Their primary defense grid is down, Captain Okafor reported. Factory complexes disabled. Military command structure in chaos. Diana nodded, watching the tactical displays show Centauri resistance crumbling across all sectors. Launch Phase 2. Quantum sleep missiles, a human innovation the Centauri had never imagined possible, streaked through space. Where they struck, crystalline hulls turned brittle and shattered. Centauri weapons failed as their energy matrices collapsed. In Geneva, James Chin received confirmation of total success. Every objective achieved, every target neutralized, with minimal loss of life on either side. a demonstration of power, not vengeance. Send the final message, President Rodriguez commanded. Admiral Torres faced the communication array once more. Your military capability has been neutralized. Your weapons have been disabled. Your defenses have failed. This is not destruction, this is education. She paused, letting the silence carry weight across the void. Humanity values peace. We prefer cooperation. But we are not weak. We are not prey. We have never been the simple, naive species you believed us to be. The Zentari High Council, watching their empire's military might crumble in hours, finally understood. They had not been dealing with an emerging civilization, learning to navigate the stars. They had been testing the patience of a species that had mastered the art of war long before reaching space. A species that chose peace not from weakness, but from wisdom. We will withdraw our forces, Diana continued, once you understand 3 things. First, your expansion ends now. Second, any aggression against human worlds will be met with total response. Third, she allowed herself a cold smile. The next time you mistake kindness for weakness, remember this day. As humanity's fleets began their withdrawal, leaving disabled but intact Zentari ships in their wake, Commander Winters transmitted one final message to the Ghost Fleet. Mission accomplished. The galaxy now knows humanity's true face. The storm had passed, leaving behind a transformed galaxy, one that would never again mistake human patience for powerlessness. A new order. Kextal, senior diplomat of the Galactic Concordat, stood before the great observation window of the neutral space station Unity, watching Earth's diplomatic vessel approach. Unlike the simple transport ships humans had once used, this was a quantum-powered dreadnought, its capabilities no longer hidden behind modest appearances. The early, noted as Aid, Vixna, her crystalline form shifting with anxiety. They're always exactly when they mean to be, Kextal replied. The humans had taught the galaxy many lessons, but precision and timing had been among the most pointed. 3 months had passed since Operation Thunderfall had transformed the balance of power in known space. The Zentari Empire, once the dominant force in 3 sectors, now struggled to rebuild their basic infrastructure. Not through destruction, the humans had been surgical in their strikes, but through the complete neutralization of their military capability. The human vessel docked with elegant efficiency. From it emerged not the expected diplomatic team, but a single figure, Ambassador Victoria Reed, the same diplomat who had smiled and negotiated with the Zentari for years while they plotted against her people. Welcome to Unity Station, Kextal greeted her formally. The Concordat appreciates Earth's willingness to participate in these discussions. Victoria's smile was genuine but carried an edge of steel. The Concordat's invitation was intriguing, though I notice the Zentari representatives are absent. They're still struggling with long-range transport, Kextal admitted. Their remaining ships are needed for essential supplies. In the station's grand conference chamber, representatives from 12 space-faring civilizations waited. Some, like the crystalline Meraxians, had been allies of the Zentari. Others, like the energy-based Quantum Collective, had maintained careful neutrality. All now watched humanity with new eyes. Before we begin, Victoria addressed the assembly. I want to be clear. Earth doesn't seek dominion. We don't want an empire. What we want is understanding. In orbit around distant worlds, human ghost fleet vessels remain visible now, a constant reminder of the power that had always been there, waiting. Commander Winters had positioned her ships strategically, not as a threat, but as a promise. Back on Earth, Strategic Director James Chin and Dr. Vale had established the Interstellar Security Council, a new organization dedicated to maintaining the peace through strength and transparency. Their first act had been to reveal the full extent of human technological advancement, not to boast, but to prevent future miscalculations. The galaxy's paradigm was flawed, Victoria continued, her voice carrying to every corner of the chamber. Species were categorized as either predators or prey, strong or weak, conquerors or victims. Humanity refuses to accept these limitations. Kextal watched the other representatives' reactions. The Meraxians' crystalline forms vibrated with suppressed emotion. The quantum collective's energy patterns shifted in what he recognized as deep consideration. We choose peace because we understand war, the ambassador explained. We extend friendship because we know the cost of enmity. But never mistake this choice for weakness. In the depths of space, Admiral Torres's fleet patrolled the new buffer zones established between major powers. The reckoning had become a symbol, not of human aggression, but of their commitment to preventing future conflicts. The Concordat proposes a new framework for galactic relations, Kextal announced. One based on mutual respect rather than perceived strength. The humans have shown us a better way. Screens activated around the chamber, displaying the aftermath of Operation Thunderfall. The Zentari ships, disabled but not destroyed. Military installations, neutralized but left intact. A demonstration of power tempered by mercy. Your people could have destroyed the Zentari, Vixna said quietly to Victoria. Why didn't you? Because that's not who we choose to be, Victoria replied. Humanity's strength isn't in our weapons or our tactics. It's in our ability to choose a better path, even when given every reason not to. The conference continued for days, establishing new protocols for interstellar relations. Trade agreements were restructured, technological exchange programs reformulated. But underlying every discussion was a new understanding. Peace was no longer maintained by the threat of the strongest, but by the wisdom of those strong enough to choose restraint. President Rodriguez, addressing Earth's billions, summarized it best. We kept our masks in place until they were no longer needed. Now we stand revealed, not as conquerors, not as victims, but as guardians of a peace built on understanding rather than fear. In the weeks that followed, humanity's influence spread not through force but through example. The quantum shield technology that had protected Earth was shared with other worlds, under strict conditions. The Ghost Fleet's tactical innovations were taught to those who proved themselves trustworthy. Commander Winters, overseeing the training of alien crews in deep space, found herself teaching not just combat techniques, but the philosophy behind them. Power isn't just about capability, she explained to her students. It's about knowing.